It's a great pleasure to welcome to What's Next, Kagiso Khaole, who is the head of mobility operations at Uber Sub-Saharan Africa. And of course, Uber is something that we all use in our day-to-day lives. I use it, I think I was just trying to calculate, Kagiso, how often I use Uber. I'm probably Ubering somewhere 3, 4 times a week. It's just that convenience that you've got with it. How are you doing first, dear? You well?
It's great once again to be with you and to chat to you about our business.
How old is Uber in South Africa? I know Uber has been around for over a decade globally, but when did Uber start in South Africa? I was trying to work it out the other day. How long has Uber been here?
Would you believe it? I think next year it will be 10 years in South Africa.
No ways.
It's really hard to think about a time where you had to, you know, make phone calls, try find alternatives to get around, pick up people from the airport. Some of these things, it seems like if you asked maybe some of the younger generation, it sounds like the old ages, it seems very
Yes.
archaic. And yeah, 10 years has been 10 wonderful years, growing and expanding in South Africa, connecting people and more recently, even packages to people, which has been fantastic.
Well, listen, I want to talk about and unpack all of that because I remember when you first started, it was just Uber Black. And now you've got Uber Van, you've got Uber Package, which I use as well. If I've got a business that I've run, and to send something from one branch to another, it's just so convenient just to use that part. And then, if I've got a staff event, I just get an Uber Van. It's fantastic. How is it going at Uber in South Africa? Next year is going to be your 10th anniversary, and certainly you've come a long way since you began 10 years ago, just almost 10 years ago in South Africa. How's it going now?
Well, I mean, in South Africa, we continue to just increase the amount of products and services that we bring into the market. It's a hotbed of innovation, even against our counterparts in Europe. We're still bringing a lot of new products. You mentioned Uber Connect, and that's our delivery service. We've just expanded into Uber Car as well, so you can take bigger packages up to 80 kilograms on there. We've also recently launched some new ways of traveling with Uber. So instead of doing multiple stops, you can actually book a Uber vehicle for several hours and do multiple stops. So that's a new product that we've just launched in Cape Town called Uber Hourly. Really fantastic way to go and see the sights, leave your luggage there in the back and just jump back into the car once you're done at a certain stop. We also launched Reserve. I know there's riders that love to plan in advance. So now we allow you to plan your trips up to 30 days in advance, whether you're going to the airport, whether you're going to a business meeting. And again, it's just part of, how we're reimagining how people and goods move around the country.
Oh, brilliant. Just tell me about that one you just spoke about in Cape Town, because I was just thinking about that. I'm planning a trip down in the next few weeks, and I want to go visit a wine farm and do this and do that. And I'm just thinking, instead of, you've got to hire a car if you look at it to do that sort of thing. But for me, that's really cool. So I can actually predetermine my trip and say, I want to go there and I want to go there. So you actually book a car for several hours and you fit into your itinerary. Is that a fair assessment?
That's correct. And it gives you the flexibility also to change your mind. So instead of having
Brilliant.
to, if you end up there and you're seeing the seals and you actually want to then move across back to Camps Bay, you can do that. You can book up to 8 hours on the app, and the driver will be able to do multiple stops for you during that time. So really, it's a really important service that we're introducing, and we're one of the first countries globally to do this. If you think about now that tourism is back, what a wonderful way to see our beautiful country.
I,
From
I,
the
I
airport.
absolutely Yeah, I absolutely love it. And if you just think about it, when you travel, right, you got to go there and you got to go there. Now you can just plan a day and visit all the sites. Thank you for telling me about that. I mean, there's certainly so many innovations. You just touched on one right now. What are Uber's latest initiatives? What are you guys working on? including that online demand delivery solution, Uber Connect Car. I think that for me has been a lifesaver. What are you guys working on at the moment?
Sure. We always design with our customers in mind. So we look at the couriers, we look at drivers, we look at riders, and one of the common use cases has been um, I've left something at a location, and I want that item delivered back to me. And that's where we thought about Uber Connect. And slowly, as people started using Uber Connect on the motorbikes, we started seeing requests for bigger and bigger items. So the little box at the back of the bike isn't able to take certain packages. So maybe it's a suitcase or the like. Now you're able to do that with Uber Connect Car. So what you do there is that on demand, you're able to request a vehicle, just like the normal Uber trip. They arrive at your doorstep, you package your goods, you put it in the vehicle, and the driver drops it off at the destination. And we're introducing a number of really good features, such as pins for safety to make sure that the intended recipient is the one that collects it at the end of the journey. So really excited about the space. I'm really excited about what this means as well for small businesses. So if you think about
Mm.
some of the law firms needing to deliver documents, little goods and craft stores that may not be able to build out their own delivery and logistics arm, they're able to quickly sign up and take make use of this product. So we're really excited to see how this changes the landscape of SMEs as well as linking up into the bigger corporates as well.
Wow, I love it. What a fantastic solution. And you go up to, I think you mentioned up to 80 kilograms, right? You can go on using this kind of service.
That's correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, how have how have the services that Uber provides here changed over the last year, for example? And how's the market reacted? You talk about Uber Connect, for example, Uber Connect Car, and you talk about the delivery stuff, etc., etc. Is the market open to it? And I am look, I am giving you myself as an example. I'm one of your consumers, and I'm certainly making use of a lot of these kind of services. I imagine that the market is reacting in the same way.
Yeah, the response has been phenomenal. Like I said, we're one of the leading countries within the actual globe. Within even Europe, Middle East, Africa is leading the way with some of these products. If you think about the journey that you painted, coming in, starting off with black, and how we've brought new segments of consumers into this platform. So we launched Uber Go, which has also been successful. Our lower cost, more affordable option as well, where you get a hatchback to just get one or two people to their destination as quickly as possible. We introduced the vans XL. It's just a way of us to just reimagine again how we're connecting people. And if you look at the platform itself, we see ourselves as a small player in a bigger mobility industry. Sometimes you look at Uber and you think, we brought it into the market, but we still see so much opportunity to bring in a ton of new products. We're always innovating, taking lessons in the South African context, taking lessons from Ghana, Nigeria, our businesses in Kenya, and seeing how we can take those learnings and be able to introduce new segments of riders into this ecosystem. But on the flip side, we've got a multi-faceted marketplace.
Mm.
It's a two-sided marketplace. So the driver is also very important. And again, when you think about products like the hourly or reserve, it's ways for them to get additional income, to earn a little bit more uh, by leveraging, again, different use cases that riders have. So if your demand is for a luxury sedan that's going to be waiting for you in advance, or you'd like to know who the driver is before they arrive at your door, we've got a product for you now. But if you just need to quickly get out, do some shopping, there's a product that's waiting for you. So I'm really bullish and really excited about how we expand this portfolio and make sure that the cities we operate in are world-class cities. If you think about back in the day, you'd arrive in a foreign town and you need to figure out how to get around. But these days, an international traveler arrives at Ora Tambo, they open up the Uber app, the same Uber app they've been using, and they can get around our country. And that's, again, the vision that we have, both international and local. how do we make mobility easier for everyone?
Oh, absolutely awesome. I mean, you must have seen some very interesting trends, right? I mean, the explosive growth of deliveries, for example. I mean, I just look at how much more of that particular service I'm seeing. I imagine everybody else is doing a lot more because I'm using it a lot more. And just general consumer behavior in South Africa. Obviously, the pandemic impacted all of us in some way or another. But as we're coming out of this pandemic, uh, the behaviors are changing of how people are using Uber, for example. What are you seeing as we move out of this pandemic? And let's hopefully say that we're not going to have any more huge lockdowns, and it's a thing of the past. But I guess you can never predict these kind of things. But still, I'm getting a sense of normality coming back. And what are you seeing post the pandemic?
Correct. A term that was bandied around was the new normal. And I think we are not going back to how life was before. We've seen the adoption again of being able to order online, being able to move goods um, remotely. In terms of consumers going back to shopping at bricks and mortar, I think that trend, we've seen it. It's a thing of the past. People will need to be able to be connected, will need to be able to move goods in a different way going forward. Some of the use cases, coming out of the lockdowns that we've had in South Africa. I mean, it's crazy to think that it was almost 2 years. It
Mm.
was actually a funny date. It was Valentine's Day. We saw the number of packages that were transported on the day. It was uh, our best day so far on the product. So again,
Wow.
people are looking at utilizing these services for very unique use cases. And for us as a company, it's about learning and understanding how consumers want to use the product. So we can have the best ideas, and the only time you learn is when it's actually in the hands of consumers. So really looking forward to seeing how we grow, connect. Obviously, there's things around electrifying our fleets, and some of the broader ideas that we've stated at a global level. And we are very confident that Africa will not be left behind, and we want to make sure that we lead on those aspects as well.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. It's so interesting what you say about Valentine's Day, and I imagine with Mother's Day coming up, you're probably going to see something similar happening. And, these kind of, big milestone events throughout the year, which I find quite interesting. As a consumer, if I can share some feedback, I mean, I wonder if there's a feature coming, and the one challenge I have sometimes is on my Uber account, right? You can only do one transaction at a time. So if I want to send a package and I want to book myself an Uber ride, I can't do that simultaneously. Is that something that Uber is working on, or is there a solution around that? And I know the challenge is right because you've got one credit card exactly, but sometimes you want to even book a ride for yourself and book a ride for a friend, and you can't do two things simultaneously.
Yes, and that's a very good insight. So we actually launched the ability to, order food and travel last year, and now we're also looking at concurrent deliveries on Connect. So being able to for drivers to be able to pick up multiple packages, and the next step,
Yes.
I think in that evolution you've alluded to. So I'd say stay tuned, and we'll definitely take that feedback to heart.
Oh, that is fantastic news. Well, you've made my day with that, because sometimes, just two rides simultaneously makes a huge difference. Awesome. Listen, I look forward to chatting to you when you guys turn 10 in South Africa, because I think that we need to share those insights on how many rides have happened in the last 10 years, how many people have used the service. I love those kind of stats, and how many packages have been transported since the delivery service, and all of these things that Uber does. So please, Kagiso, promise me one thing: we'll catch up before you guys turn 10, and capture all those milestones of Uber in South Africa.
Definitely. I'll take an Uber to your studio, and hopefully we'll get to do it in person as well.
Ah, I'd like that very much. Kagiso Khaole, the head of mobility operations at Uber Sub-Saharan Africa, thank you so much for joining us on What's Next.
Thank you, Aki.